Welcome to YTC on the Go. Today we're going to talk about express passes. Are they worth it? Are they not? So we're going to go into some detail here as to the different items and things to check in. So definitely keep an eye out there. One of the things that we would recommend looking at is first the overall crowd calendar. Is it a busy day? Is it not so busy day? Is it one of the low days? So definitely check out one of those crowd control calendars for Universal. That'll help you do your initial check. Second, determine how long your trip is. So if you're going for one day, then you probably need that express pass or the unlimited express pass. If you're going for more than a couple of days per park, from what we've seen, it may not be needed, especially if you're going midweek versus weekend. So we're going to kind of break down and talk about some of the items that we found. Today we're going to talk about Universal Fast Passes. Are they worth it or are they not? We have no idea. So what we're going to do is do a little bit of research as to what the Express Pass options are, as Universal has a couple of those, and then talk about some of the findings as to whether we determine if they are worth it or not. As a reminder from our prior videos, you'll remember that we've decided to do the Season Pass versus a 5-day Universal Pass. We found that doing the Season Pass was cheaper than actually doing the 5-day ticket. So because we are saving money with a Season Pass over a 5-day ticket, we felt that that was the right method for us. Husband will do one preferred pass where he doesn't have blackout dates because he gets the free parking. He also gets some cheaper tickets if we decide that somebody else wants to go, those some discounts and things like that. So we went through all of that in this video. And then from there, we got just the basic passes for the kids and I, because we think that his pass with early park admission actually might work in our favor. So since he has it, we're hoping that they'll let us go in as well. If they don't, then we'll learn that the first trip and we will plan accordingly. So what we wanted to determine was whether it was worth using express passes or not. And so there's a lot of information that we have determined. But before we get started with that, we're going to go ahead and look at what the options are for the express pass for Universal. So here you'll notice that we're on the Universal webpage, and so we can add the Universal Express access to our admission. Now remember that the Express Pass is on top of your actual pass, which makes them pretty expensive. So you'll notice that we have the Universal Express ticket, so that means that you just get to skip the line one time for a ride. The Unlimited Pass is actually an unlimited number of times that you get to skip. You also have to purchase them for one park versus two parks, so that does change the price by $10 or $15 as well. There's also the Volcano Bay Express, but since we're not going to do the Volcano Bay water park, we're not really interested in it at this point. So it does get you to a shorter express line, so it does not mean you get to skip the entire line. It just means that you get to go to a shorter line for the express tickets. So there is a list of participating rides and attractions, so you'll see them out here. You can go out and research them. I'm not going to talk about each one of them. There's about 30 thereabouts just between the Universal Islands and Adventure and Universal Studios Florida. So there's about 30 of them total. There are some questions here that we want to cover as well. So essentially we've talked about you get to bypass the main line. And then the difference, of course, we've talked about the differences that you get one-time skip versus multiple skip. You do have to have an express pass for the day that you want to do it. So you can't, like we're going to get season passes. You can't buy one express pass and it work for all seasons. It's only for one day. There are some attractions that also do not participate in Universal Express, and so that is going to be for Vival's Playland, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, the Jurassic World Velocicoaster, and Pteranodon, that's a hard word to say, Flyers. So those are the rides that do not work with Express Passes. You will need a separate Express Pass for the Halloween Horror Nights, and so everything that I have seen really notates that for Halloween Horror Nights you do need an Express Pass. So if you are doing the Halloween Horror Nights, that is a recommendation that I've seen multiple places. That is kind of the initial basis of the Express Passes. We have been told on our Facebook notation that they are worth it. However, as we've done a little bit of research, there's a couple of things to note. So they do work for shows, and essentially what this means is you do need to be in line 10 or 15 minutes ahead of time, because for it to work on the show, you really get to skip and get to enter first for those items. So that's something to consider as well. They do have virtual line for some rides. So you can just check in with your Universal Orlando app and wait in line virtually. The Express Pass does skip this for the virtual lines for most of the rides, and you really get to enter the ride as normal with your Express Pass, and you don't have to wait in virtual line. Now, where that is different is for Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure and the I'm going to have trouble saying this again, Pteranodon Flyers. So for those two rides, you can only do the virtual line. You cannot use the Express Pass. Also, there are the ones that we've talked about that you can't use the Express Pass anyway. So our end result and the items that we determined were a couple of things. First, you can stay in a resort for one night and you'll get free unlimited Express Passes. You'll get free Express Passes if you stay in one of the premier hotels. You get it for that day as well as the day you check in, the day you check out, and the nights that you're staying. So that could be an option if we wanted to pay for a night, and you know, there are 5 of us, so depending on the cost, rather than paying the fees for each individual day for the 2 parks, that could be an option to upgrade for one night at the hotel, and we get 2 days of Express Pass, the day we checked in, and since we'd only stay one night, the day we checked out. So we get 2 Express Pass days for those, and it may be well worth that thought. So we could do that and may find that that is beneficial. From our initial look, everybody says if you're gonna go for 1 day per park, you've got to have the Express Pass in order to do most of the activities. For us, since we're buying a season pass, and we will be going off season because we are looking at a trip in kind of the winter time frame, one in early spring, and then one in late summer, early fall. Because we're going multiple times and we aren't in a rush, that was one of the other things that really benefited us buying an annual pass instead of just doing one trip for 5 days and trying to shove it all in. We can kind of pick and choose what we want to do. Also, if his early park admission works, because we're going to go so many days, we can kind of start with some of the Harry Potter stuff and get that knocked out when there aren't that many lines and not that many people, and move forward. One of the things that we've seen for 21 is that the lines and the crowds are not as extensive as they have been. So part of that was with the restriction on the parks, and then you know, just people being more concerned about being in a big group. So for us, what we've determined right now is that you can buy Express Passes when you get there. So if we find that we need them, we can always add them on. Because we are going to do the season pass, our estimation is that if we need them, we'll use them on the last trip. If we haven't had a chance to do what we want to do, or if we just want to do everything again within our last couple of days because it's the last time we're going to be at Universal, we might add express passes. But with the fees of approximately $100 per day per person, that adds $500 to our trip that I really don't necessarily know that I need to budget for. So because we're not going in the heat of the summer, and with the majority of people, all the crowd calendars that we've showed are moderate to low for the days that we're looking at, we've kind of determined that we'll be there during midweek, and even if the lines are a little rough, what we have determined is we're gonna let the kids kind of pick. We're gonna do some research on rides, so that'll be kind of one of the next things that's coming up for our videos. We're gonna do some of the choosing as to what rides we want to do, and we're gonna organize them. So the way that we do it when we go to a theme park is we'll research the theme park, and each child and each adult, so all 5 of us, will get to pick one thing that we have to do. And then we do that one thing we have to do, and then everything else that day is gravy. So since we're gonna go for approximately 12 to 13 days to Universal, we've determined that we probably won't buy the express passes, at least to start. And then honestly, since it's not since it's about $100 per day for each of us, I'm probably gonna book us into a hotel for that one night so that we get those 2 days. Actually, let's go look at what that cost would be. So we're going to our Universal page, and let's find what it would be to book a hotel night. So let's look at our places to stay for our hotels. And there are 3 hotels that are the higher range hotels. And so the Endless Summer Resort isn't one. Adventura Cabana Bay, so that's an option. Royal Pacific Resort, the Hard Rock Hotel, and Portofino Bay Hotel from 302. And so what you'll see is it includes free, express, unlimited. So you get it for the whole day for all the rides for $312. So that one shows it too there at the Hard Rock, as well as the Royal Pacific, but the Sapphire Falls does not. So let's say we pick this one here, and we're gonna book for one night, and let's see if it will let us do all of us. So we're just gonna pick a random day in the spring. So let's say right after the kids get out of school. So let's say we want to stay at the hotel midweek because we're just gonna stay the one night. The occupancy, we actually have 3 children, so we're gonna update that. Okay. And so they've got a seasonal rate of $371. It would not let me update for all of us. We do let all the kids sleep in one room, but I don't know if that's gonna let us, maximum, yes, occupancy of 5 guests with a roll away. So let's say we're gonna book this one. Make sure that it's got 2 queens, taxes, 1 night, 2 adults, 3 children, $417.37. So what that tells us is that instead of buying unlimited express passes for the $100 or $127 per day, it is better for us to book a hotel night. We would get a night of hotel plus the unlimited passes for $417. That's way better than buying it for each of us and our children. So What I would recommend is if you have a family and you want the unlimited passes, you better book one of the more expensive hotels for at least one night, because you get it the night you're going, the day you're going. So we would get the express pass on Monday the 23rd, plus we would get one for Tuesday the 24th for our check-in and check-out days. Since we were only staying one night. If we were staying additional nights, you get them for every day that you were in the park. So for free Universal Express Unlimited tickets, it's worth the $417 for the 5 of us. Because if we work that out, and I have to calculate that, 417.37 divide by the 5, we get the unlimited for $83.47. If we go back to my page here, what you'll notice for my tickets, if I look through those and I would add it just for one day, I'll pick that exact same day. So you'll see my total for my tickets were out there. But let's say I want to continue shopping. And I want to add my express passes. It's my next step. I want to do my parks. So the unlimited, if I raise it up here, I have to see what day, and I had picked Monday the 23rd, so we're gonna page our way through there. The 23rd. Do you know that that adds a whole lot to my cart? Check that price out. So let's go to the next step. I want to see what my total is right there. So my 2-park preferred annual pass for the Express Unlimited Pass, all ages, it ended up $129.99 per ticket, or $649.95. So by booking a day of hotel, what that allows me is to save $232.58, and I get the night of hotel. So I don't have to use my points or anything. So if I determine that we want express passes, we're gonna stay the night at the hotel because it is way cheaper. And so that is totally odd and not what I would have expected happen when you do that. But it is not worth buying the Express Unlimited Pass without getting the hotel. It just isn't. It's much cheaper to stay a night at their hotel and get the free unlimited pass. One of the other kind of perks or things to know about the Express Pass is that it doesn't work in the early entry times. So the early park entry times, the Express Pass won't work. So we did find that out as well. So we've learned a whole lot about Express Pass. Our decision is at this time that we will not be buying the Express Pass or the Express Unlimited Pass. If we find that we need them, that it would make our trip way better, we're gonna do it on the last trip, and what we're gonna do is just add an additional night to the park where we stay at the Royal Pacific Resort. If we find that we don't need them, we've done everything that we want to do at Universal with our season pass in the few weeks that we go to initially, then we'll save ourselves that $400 and not use them and not stay on resort, is where you're going to use our points off resort because it works out a bit cheaper. Let us know if you thought, even if you're on a season pass, if you thought that it was definitely needed for a certain day or time, and we'll definitely check into that. It's a learning opportunity for all of us. So stick with us. We'll let you know how it works out for us as we get closer. But for now, we've decided that we are not going to buy the express passes because we are going and have so many ticket opportunities. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is what rides we want to do. And do we plan our way through the park? Because we don't want to run back and forth because that takes a lot of time up. So what we want to do is plan our way efficiently through the park. So to do that, we're going to talk to each of our kids about what ride they have to do or what show they have to see. And then once we do that, we will plan our way around the park. We want to hit those 5 things that day with no problem. And then from there, anything else that we get is gravy. Also, we want to check out some of those character experiences and breakfasts and things like that to determine if it's a, hey, we gotta do this, or, nah, is it really worth the funds? So stay tuned with us as we do our research and our planning for Universal. And remember, your adventure is right around the corner.